Welcome back. Well, former President Trump will become the second president in history to serve two non-consecutive terms. And to talk about the history that will be written, we bring in Jeff Engel, director for the Center for Presidential History at SMU. Good morning to you.
Hi, good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you. So Grover Cleveland is the other comeback president all the way back in the 1800s. Are the two stories similar or not?
Not really, to be honest. In fact, Grover Cleveland was a person who was, yes, actually from outside the establishment in many ways, but he also became essentially the person who the Democratic Party at that time was able to rally around. And one thing that is fascinating about Grover Cleveland in particular, that's useful for our purposes, is he had a very, very disappointing second term. And I mean disappointing for himself personally. That is to say, he came in and realized that maybe this wasn't as much fun as I remembered, and that this was much, much more difficult than I remembered. And when we think of Grover Cleveland's achievements, they're all in the first term and not in the second, which, by the way, is usually the case for presidents, just not without that, usual interregnum.
With the gap, yes.
Yeah.
So Trump addressed the nation earlier this morning, but as the New York Times even pointed out, says he addressed the nation, without the grievances or that dark rhetoric that he had been using. So are we seeing a tamed down Trump here?
I think everybody in the nation would love to be brought together, no matter what side you're on at this point. I think that the last several weeks of the campaign were particularly dark, and obviously that's something that Donald Trump thought was useful for his campaign, and obviously proved right. So in 2016, he said also that he was not going to be a non-divisive president, that he wanted to bring people together. And again, this could be a very interesting Grover Cleveland moment, in the sense that we have an opportunity to see what a president has really learned and thought about. I mean, most presidents, if they get two terms, they're right back on top of each other, and there's really no time to sit and think. One advantage that President Trump has had now is that he's had 4 years to say, how would I do it different? How would I do it better? How would I improve? What would I improve about myself? And that's not something that we almost ever see a president get the chance to do. And I'm curious to see how he turns out.
All right, so I wanted to ask you this. In the eyes of history, talk about this being the second woman to be close to becoming president, Kamala Harris, only to fall short.
That is a great question, because we have such a small data size sample. I always like to point out when we're talking about the presidents that you would never actually construct a scientific study with only 47 samples. It's just not enough. So, it's true that we've had two women now who have been major party nominees, and both have lost. We saw from the data with Barack Obama that his race did hurt him a couple points. We saw with Hillary Clinton, we think that her gender hurt her a couple of points. Kamala Harris, obviously, we'll have to pull apart the data to see what happened. But it's very, very interesting to me that, especially when we think about not just Kamala Harris, but going back to Donald Trump for a second, what's amazing to me is we keep writing the last line of his, the first line of his obituary, which is something historians kind of play with. Like, what's the one thing you're going to remember about this guy going forward? First real estate guy, then TV star, then surprise presidential candidate, then twice impeached president, first time in history, now first time coming back into office. I mean, the man makes me rewrite everything I write all the time. I guess he's keeping me employed.
As we said at the top, a lot of history to write here. All right, always a pleasure to talk to you. Jeff Engel, thanks a lot.
Thank you.